Man, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one.
I know that was the last question. This was so if I could spit it out. These are supposed to be rapid fire questions.
Wow. Well, I think if you look behind me, you can see that there's baby toys over there. There's a bicycle here with the baby seat on the back. There's an infrared sauna right there. And this is my office. So I like to mix it up, you know. Sometimes I'm here working away on my computer. Sometimes my daughter is here. She's 10 months old, and we're playing over there on the couch. She's learning how to stand. We're playing with the toys. Sometimes we go on a bike ride. And then a lot of times after work, I'm just going to get in my infrared sauna and get over there and relax and detox. So I think just even looking behind me, I try to integrate my business and my life all together. And in fact, this room itself is a Faraday cage. So I'm preventing myself from getting inundated with all the EMS from the outside world. And yeah.
It's being able to just be present in today and working when I work and spend time with my wife when I can. And with what COVID's done, I spend a lot of time with my wife, and it's taking breaks throughout the day, going down, getting a hug and recharging and walking back upstairs with a new fresh glass of water and going back to work. But being present in her life and she's present in mine.
Feel happy.
Planning. Plan your calendar.
Ooh. At the moment, journaling.
I create passionately and confidently.
My fear to answer a call. Before, I don't know, remember that, but I remember I told you then I have like fear to answer the call. Because when I started this company in 1992, I didn't speak much English I do now. And many people, I remember they hang up the phone, or some they insult me because they told me, how are you running a company, you can't speak English? And I remember that, and then I get those fears to answer the call, and I was always saying, you know, hopefully they can leave a message, and then I can. And that time was a beeper. I remember that, and I say, well, I'm gonna beep then, it's something like that. But I was really, so it was really hard, and it was tough. Now, I don't think about that. I just do it. You know, I just answer the call, answer the email, I text, and you know, that fear is still inside of me because there's something, always the fear is still with us, but I don't think about it, just do it.
Failure would and challenge would probably be when I did drop out of law school. Because I thought my life was like over as I knew it. Oh gosh, what am I going to do now? I just knew that wasn't the thing I was supposed to do. And overcoming it meant working as a secretary for a major entertainment lawyer. Because, you know, the funny thing is I actually had this wonderful network of very prominent attorneys. Well, I ended up working for Bill Graham, who's one of the most major rock and roll promoters, office, and that led me into my next phase of my career, which was working in the music business for over 5 years and in wonderful positions as director of promotion and publicity was one of them, which led me to my whole publicity career, right? So that falling out of law school ended up, interestingly enough, with a beautiful path to where I was meant to be, which was my path of publicity and promotion. Bit circuitous, but it led to the right path.
I think it would have to be not committing suicide, which of course we talked about in the podcast. But yeah, not taking my own life, which, I mean, I was just moments away from ending my life through suicide. So I think coming back from that was quite a long journey. And I think that's why when people come to me, when they hire me as a coach or even hire me as a speaker, and they're going through tough times, I can definitely relate to people who are going through that situation or something similar.
My first business failure was catastrophically impactful, but in a really good way. I had the house on the hill and the car, and I realized very quickly that I don't own those, the bank do. And it took me a couple of years to come back from that. And I'm still I still have those seeds that I'm working to get over, but everything that I know now and all the things that I'm good at now came from some of those mistakes.
Being in a business that your heart does not want to be in, and having to shut it down. I've had to do that. But by doing that, I started to liquidate my assets, my equipment, which has evolved into the business that I have today.
So basically, the thing that was your biggest challenge ended up being your biggest goal.
That's right. It was.
Well, I'd say one of the biggest challenges so far is dealing with mold toxicity. I was living in a couple of houses here in Santa Cruz that were water damaged, and I didn't know it, and they had grown toxic indoor mold, which I had no idea at the time, but can actually make you super sick and makes all kinds of different symptoms, and you have no idea what's going on. And so I just got sicker and sicker and sicker since I moved here, and couldn't figure out what the hell it was. Finally, a year and a half ago, the doctor suggested I get tested for mycotoxins, and lo and behold, my levels were off the charts, literally. And so since then, it's been the hardest thing that I've ever had to confront, because you got to address your living environment, you got to address your working environment, you got to address your vehicle. Anything that you spend time in could become mold toxic. And so in this office right now, it's kind of living proof of one example of overcoming that challenge. This is the lowest mold building that I've ever tested in Santa Cruz. And I'm still in the process of upgrading my home because we had to leave our last rental because it was ridden with black mold. So we're going to be building a tiny home on wheels to design it to be low mold, low EMF, and carcinogenic chemical free.
Well, first of all, I don't really eat dairy anymore, A. But B, I do like cheddar. So there you go.
Sharp cheddar, I suppose you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, the Cooper Sharp cheese. I think it's a white cheese. I don't want orange or any of these weird colors.
Okay.
Cowgirl Creamery.
Ooh, that's such a good one. It would have to be the burrata.
That's easy. Blue cheese.
Oh man, pepper jack.
Oh, pepper jack all day long.
When I'm around, well, I have many times, but one time that comes to mind is when I'm around Caleb, my husband. He just has this aura. It's infectious. So, yeah.
When or what? Okay, when I'm riding my bike. Riding my bike into nature, that's when I feel most alive.
When I'm out in nature with people that I care about. When I'm in nature and I feel very grounded and connected to the earth and to my environment, but I'm also sharing an epic experiences with other people that I care about, those two things together doesn't get much better than that.
I love, being with my family, doing things with them, watching my kids grow. And I have a 19-year-old stepson and a 3-year-old boy, and I love and my beautiful wife, and I love being with them and experiencing things with them. And to do that, I have to have a business that's profitable. So fortunately, I love the creativity that business allows. And when I'm creating things, building my business, I get excited. I get excited about that. So yeah, I get excited in my business when I'm creating and building it. And then I get excited, and I love being with my family.
Two main things: learning something new that I've never really done, and then like traveling, adventure stuff, like jumping out of an airplane, skydiving. So that's skydiving, zip lining, hiking, like just being out in nature. Like all those combined, like really make me feel alive.
Ooh, I think I feel most alive when I'm on stage. Yeah, when I'm on stage and I'm performing, and especially if it's something that I've rehearsed well and I'm ready for that experience. One of the most incredible things is when you finish your performance and you look out and then you just see people's expressions on their faces. And I've had the good fortune, because I typically do it in groups of people, so I'm not always by myself performing, but I've had the good fortune to have the lights go up and to see exhilaration. And the audience, they had laughed and they had cried and they'd gone through the full spectrum of experience, and now the show is over and they were looking at us, and when I saw their faces, I felt most alive.
I really feel alive when I'm photographing an event that has a lot of people, some entertainment, and I'm not just, someone was asking me, well, what type of photographer are you? Are you fly on the wall, or do you engage with people? And I engage, and because like I mentioned before, that it lowers people's walls, and which allows me to get photos that are much more engaging of the people, because they're much more friendlier. They're not scared of you anymore. And I love making these connections with people and capturing these moments of them having a really great time at these events. And the events that I do, these are marketing things for companies. And they want to show people having a great time and engaging and doing something exciting with their brand.
I like to play games. I'm a gamer. Yeah, it's a multiplayer game. It's play on my Android. It's only a phone game, and I'm playing with people all over the world. And sometimes I have to wake up early in the morning to make sure I'm on at the right time. And I don't set an alarm, so I use my own virtual alarm in my body. And sometimes I wake up, and sometimes I don't. But it's just a way for me to blow off steam.
I'm gonna say going on trips. Obviously hasn't happened in the last year. But typically it'd be jump on a plane with my wife and go somewhere and go on an adventure.
I don't know, taking a bath or watching Netflix or I really don't like watching Netflix.
Well, the taking a bath one, I saw a glimpse of something saying, do guys still take baths? Because some guys think it's not okay to take a bath, but it is one of those forms of relaxation that I think, don't overlook it. Holy cow, yeah. Taking a bath is so good.
And for so long, I didn't have a bathtub I could fit in. And so in my home, there's a big bathtub, and it's just nice to be able to, sit in some warm water and just not do anything. It feels really good.
I just got a smoker, and so smoking salmon.
Biggest turning point. Oh my goodness. There's been a few. One of the biggest turning points in my life was when I started to book vacation. When I was an auditor, right? We would have this thing where I would book vacation and they'd cancel my vacation. So I'd book it and they'd cancel it, and they'd book it and they'd cancel it. So, I did get some, but these cancellations I wasn't enjoying them. So I decided my strategy would be that I would book as much vacation as physically possible, that every free part of my calendar, I just booked vacation. After vacation, after vacation, after vacation. I'm like, they're going to cancel most of these, but they can't cancel all of them. And then I'll definitely have vacation. And so I did this random vacation bookings, and someone invited me to go to Burning Man. And I'm like, I probably can't go because I never have vacation. So, but I'll double check because I've been, randomly booking vacation to try to get some. And it turned out that I had booked that week off. Actually booked the week before Burning Man, and the Burning Man week had already been booked off. And the company actually let me keep it, so they didn't make me work. And so I was able to say, yes, I will go to Burning Man with you, randomly person I've only known for 2 months, So then I, flew to California and, got into a weird van and we drove to Burning Man. And for a moment, I thought I was going to die, that maybe I'd made a horrible mistake. And I didn't know the people well at all. But when I got to Burning Man, my intention was that I wanted to see what other people were doing and how they were self-actualizing, and I wanted to know what was possible in the world because I wanted to change my life. And so I got there with this idea that I would somehow find a way to change my life by seeing what other people are doing and what they've accomplished. And the most amazing thing happened. It changed my life. It changed my life completely in the most incredible way. I met my husband, who was camping 2 tents next to me. And within a year, I moved to San Francisco.
Sitting down with my Montessori school teacher at Thanksgiving, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and hearing her say that she was with me the day I came into Montessori school, the first day that I came into Montessori school with my new medication. And she said, I used to be one of the most creative, connected kids in the class. And I still have that in me. I just got to dive into it.
Yeah, I would say that my biggest turning point in my life there was 2 times. Everybody talks about getting married and having kids and things like that. Those are important things too. But one was to make a decision to, purchase a home out of the state that I thought I would never leave. And that was one big decision. And then 2, you talked about me losing my job, getting fired essentially, and changing careers into photography. That was a huge change that has really made so much more pleasure in my life.
I would say the biggest turning point in my life was becoming a parent. When I had my first daughter, Ella, I'd always wanted to be a dad. I wanted to be a great dad. But you don't really know the true definition of love until you have a child. And I've always been, and I will self-admit, a sometimes selfish person. And my children have taught me to be so much more selfless and serving, not just to them, but to other people around me as well. And, that was one of the greatest gifts. It was like, you think you know love until you have a child, and it's like somebody, has a key to your heart that gets unlocked, that has some, deep spiral staircase down into the depths of your soul that you just didn't know was there. And I'm still exploring that.
Okay, so let me just say that I have a goal that I start every year with a new book of what I'm going to focus on that year. So, for instance, one powerful book I love is The Power of Focus. It's a fabulous book for focusing what you love. I love Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Is a phenomenal book and guides my life. I love Think and Grow Rich. I often will read that every year, so I remember those principles and re-ingrain them. So some books I will repeat, and I'd love to pick a new book that will take me into the new year.
7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey has been huge. And then I'd like to say honorable mention for Dr. Jordan Peterson. His 12 Rules of Life is good, but just his content in general has been like earth-shatteringly impactful. He's like, if you're not familiar, he's the internet's patriarch and dad, and I consider him to be something of a pseudo father figure, even though I've never met him.
Ooh, good book. Good question. I have to get the book right. The author is Benjamin Zander and his wife Rosamond. The book is called The Art of Possibility.
Cop out, but there's a lot of them. Actually, I think the biggest one is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. That one just even though it's not legit, real, like just the stories and I don't know, just everything about it. Just like it's just like, wow, man, I wish I could talk to the universe. But actually, you know what? I can't talk to the universe. So it is kind of real. So you know, like it is kind of real. So it's really, yeah.
James Newman called "Release Your Brakes." He wrote back in, he developed a technique back in the '60s, and he came up with the concept of the comfort zone, and he expanded on the idea of affirmations. And I use these affirmations to kind of change my life back in my younger days when I was first in the industry, trying to figure out my direction and the decisions I wanted to make or needed to make as far as my life and my family. And that has really been an amazing book for me.
There's two. One, the first would have to be Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. And so when I read that book, it changed my life. It like informed me of all the social rules that I wasn't actually fully aware of. And then when I implemented them, they worked so beautifully. And what I really loved in that book was the introduction that told you there is no shortcut to having excellent relationships. You just have to, really be there and have that great relationship. So that was a book that changed my life. And the second one that changed my life was Mindset by Carol Dweck. Mindset basically tells you growth mindset versus fixed mindset. And of course, the growth one is better, but fixed is something we all struggle with all the time. And so it helps us to understand the two mindsets and then make the journey from fixed to growth mindset.
Gift of Imperfections by Brene Brown. That was at a stage in my life where I was really seeking and finding my own identity and who I wanted to be and who I thought I was, and dealing with guilt and shame and frustration and some of the stuff that ultimately hadn't served me in my past and got me into places that I didn't want to be in my past. And it also gave me the confidence to just show up as the organic Matt. And by showing up as that person, I became more and more confident of the relationships I found in my life, of the experiences that I was having, of the, investments that I was creating for myself, and ultimately just who I was becoming, because it was a mirror and a reflection of me showing up as the real Matt.
There is two of those. One is The Secret and one is the 6 Figures. I don't remember the title. I got it right with me. It's your book.
The Hour a Day to 6 Figures.
That one, yes.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, it's the book I wrote. No, just kidding.
We should care about our own books. I mean, you put your life into it, so,
The most important book will be the next book I wrote.
I look forward to reading that.